Hello and welcome to the Kafé MVP Alpha Test. I'm Rogan X with Builder DAO. Today I'm going to walk you through the process of submitting a proposal for a guide on Kafé and then writing that guide and having it published on the site. The first thing you'll want to make sure is that you have a Solana wallet. We recommend using Phantom. It's really easy to install. Just go to phantom.app. I'm using the Chrome web browser. I install Phantom and I have a wallet set up. I'm connected to the test net. You can very easily make sure that you are connected to the testnet with a new wallet that has Kafé tokens in it. And you can click on the gear icon. You can scroll down to change network and make sure you have testnet selected. And so you can now connect your wallet to the site. It'll automatically detect that we have Phantom, and there we go, I'm connected. There's also a nice light dark mode switch here in case your environment is bright. Now, the first thing to do is to go to the right page, which is accessible on the left-hand menu. You'll enter a title for your proposal, which will also be the title of your guide. So in this case, I'm going to call my guide Solana Instructions 101. And I'm going to select a tag here that's relevant to the topic. In this case, I can use Rust because Solana is a Rust-based blockchain. I'm also going to select the Solana network as a tag. Difficulty level, you can choose either beginner or experienced. Most guides can use beginner. And the summary is going to be a description of your guide. So in this case, learn all about Solana instructions in this comprehensive guide. And now I'm going to click to submit my proposal. You'll notice down here in the left you have a progress indicator, and you'll get the pop-up from Phantom asking you to approve the transaction. Click to approve. It will subtract one Kafé token from your wallet, and you will have a successfully proposed tutorial. Guide tutorial, they're a little bit interchangeable at the moment. And here we go. So you can see the card for your proposal, and you can also vote on it yourself. You'll notice for the alpha test that we have the quorum set to only 2 votes. And once you have submitted your vote and it's been cast on the chain, you can see that vote cast successfully. And you'll need to get another vote and then have reviewers assigned so that you can complete the writing process on GitHub. We'll be back in a second. Once you have reached quorum with the correct number of votes on your proposal, and you've had your reviewers assigned on GitHub, the next step is to open up Visual Studio Code or your code editor or IDE of choice. So the first thing that we want to do is make sure that we are in the right directory. So in this case, it's under my projects, personal, forked Kafé, and I've already cloned and forked the repository to my computer. That process is detailed in the README of the Kafé repo. And in this case, I'm going to run Builder DAO tutorial init. This command is going to give us a template for, actually, just to make things easier, before I get into that, let's open up a new window that's in this actual directory so we can access the contents of the repository on the Explorer pane. So now we can actually see the templates directory for simple templates, multi-page templates. It's a good idea to just look these over before you dive into writing, but we're going to cover all of what they do in a moment. Builder DAO tutorial init. Now, the first thing you must do is select your slug, Solana Instructions 101. This is going to be the same as the name that you gave your proposal, and the slug is in lower kebab case. So we select that. You can see some details of your proposal, but the first thing you want to make sure is to create the tutorial, select yes. And are you sure you want to check out the branch? Yes, you do. You can choose either a single or multi-page tutorial or guide. You can press enter to Keep the same tutorial and description, title and description, and then the tags will already be selected based on what you provided when you submitted your proposal. So you can just press enter there and then yes to push changes. So now we're going to want to change into the Solana Instructions 101 directory. There are the metadata files and the actual contents of the tutorial. And so in here, you'll be editing the index markdown file, which is index.mdx. This allows us to use other React components inside of the markdown, such as this hint component, which allows you to easily make a hint callout in your guide. So be aware that the template coming from the templates directory is going to be pre-populated into this file for you. It's a good idea to give it a read over and follow each of the headings and make sure that they're all H2. So you can see that tutorials Solana Instructions 101 has been added, or is untracked, so we need to add it rather. Do git add all. And now we are going to git commit with a message -m, and in double quotes we can use the title of our guide, Solana Instructions 101. It'll just run some scripts to clean everything up, make sure that it's ready to be pushed to the repository, and now the next thing we want to do is git push. This is going to push the changes up to your fork of the repository. Go to GitHub, and we're going to want to check out our fork of the repository, and you'll see here that we have recent pushes, and so we can now compare and pull request. Click on that button. Now that the pull request has been created, you will need to wait for the GitHub actions to complete and automatically add the reviewers. This is a process that can take up to a few minutes, so please be patient. While this is happening is actually a good time to pop back over to Visual Studio Code and just explain a couple of things about the template to you. So here in the templates directory, we have multi-page and simple. Simple is a single page guide. Multi-page, the thing to be aware of here is that in order to create the links automatically to the following part of the tutorial, you're going to want to look at the front matter, which is at the top of each MDX file. It's contained within 3 dashes, such as this at the top and bottom. And this part here, next, including the title and the slug, written in YAML syntax, means that you can easily add a link to a part 2. Now you'll notice here, in order to link back to the previous or the very first part of the guide, you're only going to want to use the single / for the slug. And that is going to always link you back to the index file. So here in part 3, we have a previous link that takes us to part 2. Part 2 has a next and previous link, and the index has just the next link. Once your guide has pending reviewers, they'll show up here on GitHub. You can see 2 pending reviewers. These 2 people are going to be responsible for reviewing your guide. Here we go. We have 1 review, and now we just need to get 1 more review before this tutorial or guide can be published. And here we go. Some handsome gentleman has given me an approving review, and now I will be able to have my guide published on the site. The thing to note here is that when the pending review label is applied, the tutorial or guide cannot be published to the site. When the actions have successfully completed and performed all of the relevant checks, then the pending review label will be removed and be replaced by a ready to publish label. At this point, the guide can be merged successfully and published on Kafé. Now that you see the ready to publish label has been applied, this guide is ready to be published, and it will be very shortly. The only thing that's required at this point is for one of the reviewers to actually merge your guide. Now that the commit has been merged by one of the reviewers, it will take a few minutes to be automatically published on Kafé. I'll just take this opportunity to point out that all of the instructions for proposing and writing a guide on Kafé are here in the README file of the Kafé directory, repository rather. And you can find that by going to github.com/thebuilderdao/Kafé. All right, now that the actions have completed, we can actually go and see Solana Instructions 101, sort by newest, and there we go. Our guide has been published successfully on Kafé. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us on Discord or through our forum. Have a wonderful day.